Welcome back to Helming Athletics. We're talking single leg deadlifts today. That is the name of the game. As endurance athletes, cyclists, runners, triathletes, we're always trying to get a little bit extra stability in that ankle, that knee, and that hip. Much better to do on one leg than versus two. But before we get too far into that single leg deadlift, I always like to remind people it's built upon that foundation of what a regular deadlift is. So together we're going to go through our deadlift variations. We always start hands on our thighs. We're going to push our hips back so that just goes to our knees. Can we just hip hinge, really load all that tension up in the posterior chain, stand up tall? If we have that, we can go to the knees. Then we drop our butt down to the ground, bend those knees a little bit to get down a little bit lower. That's that full version of that deadlift. Today we're going to work either with a dumbbell or kettlebell, whatever you have lying around if you don't have a regular gym. So we're going to do a two-legged version of that. Just to remember, part one, just to the knees. Part two, can I go to the knees, drop down to the ground? If I have that, I'm going to start to go on one leg. And I'm just going to start in terms of progression, one leg, no weight. Just do I have that balance? Can I just hip hinge, have my hands trace down to my knees, keeping my back nice and straight? If I have that, I'm going to go hip hinge to the knee, drop my butt so my hands hit about mid-shin. That's what we're looking for. If I have that, I start to add a little bit of weight. Now, I'm going to be demonstrating with a heavier kettlebell. I like to add a little bit of load and tension on there. I like the challenge, and I'll get a 53-pounder or something like that, both hands on it. I could do this with a dumbbell. I could start with something lighter. It's completely up to you and what you have. So you've practiced your single leg deadlifts. You may find that one variation, you're stuck on it. Well, if you're stuck on that variation, spend some time there. It doesn't matter if it's no weight. It doesn't matter if it's just going down partially to your knees. You always want to make sure, just like that deadlift, we're not sacrificing our back position. It's nice and straight, and we're really working on hinging at the hip. And this really gets into why we're doing this thing. We're really trying to focus on stabilizing that hip, that knee, and that ankle. And the best way to do that is to keep that belly nice and tight. Shoot those hips back as far as we can so we get that maximum engagement in the posterior chain. If we try to rush this thing, it turns into this big soupy mess of ugly single leg squat, rounded back, kind of ugly thing that we're really trying to avoid. So we want it nice and pretty. So you got to do that. You got to be patient. You got to take your time. You do these things, this is going to really help for any of you athletes out there dealing with any IT band issues, any knee achy issues. You know, you just feel a little unsteady, especially on those long descents and some of those trail runs or those other things that you're going to do this winter. So there you have it, single leg deadlifts. I'll catch you another week.